Hey folks, I'm going to walk you through the political compass test so that you know what you're doing and how to navigate this site and answer a couple important questions. So first thing you need to do, if you haven't realized it already, you're going to politicalcompass.org, and it's got all kinds of different things, and it tells you where do you stand on the political compass. And by the time that you see this, you'll at least know that we've already talked about the different ideologies and where you stand. So the first thing you need to do over here on the left is click on the link that says take the test. All right. So you're going to get 6 pages worth of statements. It's going to ask you to strongly disagree, disagree, agree, or strongly agree. There's no neutral option, I know. And please bear in mind that there are limitations to this. And it's not a perfect analysis by any means, and it's not a perfect test, but I think this one's the most nuanced that I've seen. And if you have problems with it, sorry. Find other political tests too. So anyway, let's take a look, okay? And I'm going to walk you through some of the statements that people have a tough time with, and I'm just going to put some random answers on here, and we'll talk about how that goes and look at the analysis too. So the first page, it's got things about how you see the country and the world, and they tell you that if you're willing to read. All right, the first statement, if economic globalization is inevitable, it should primarily serve humanity rather than the interests of transnational corporations. And what they're saying that, if you don't know, economic globalization means that there's an interconnectivity between businesses of the world. There's not just going to be American companies that serve Americans, okay? And if that's going to happen, if globalization is going to happen, then that economic model should be helpful to humanity rather than corporations. Okay, that's what it's saying. Some of these other statements right here, they seem kind of ridiculous and strange, but ultimately they're not that bad. So on the first one, we're just going to put strongly disagree just for fun. I'd always support my country whether it was right or wrong. I'm going to agree with that. Just agree, not strongly agree. No one chooses their country of birth, so it's foolish to be proud of it. Strongly disagree. I'm proud to be an American. Our race has many superior qualities compared with other races. Oh my gosh, wow. Strongly disagree. If you put agree down, no one's going to see it, so don't worry. The enemy of my enemy is my friend. Definitely true. Thank you, Sun Tzu. Military action that defies international law is sometimes justified. Sure, why not? There's now a worrying fusion of information and entertainment. Sometimes people struggle with this just because they don't know what it means. And what they're saying is shows like The Daily Show on the Comedy Channel that are part political, part funny, that it mixes signals. We don't know how to tell what's information and what's entertainment. And I'm going to say just disagree on this one. All right, so we're going to the next page. Okay. Some of these I'm not going to go with on here, but this one's one struggle with too. It's a quote, and you can look it up if you want to, because I'm not going to tell you. It would bias you on one way or another. But from each according to his ability to each according to his need is fundamentally a good idea. Okay, that's simply saying that it would be nice if everybody just worked to the best of their ability and they took resources only according to what they needed. Okay. This right here, the freer the market, the freer the people, meaning that the more closer we are to pure capitalism, the freer the people are. Okay? Let's see here. Protectionism. People sometimes don't know what this is. They're talking about protectionism are things, economic things that you do to help your own country. A classic example would be tariffs, taxes on imported goods. Okay? And let's see here. We got to answer all these. I think on this page, we're going to put strongly agree for everything because that's what makes life fun. When you completely just randomly answer. Don't do that, by the way, because you'll see the skewed things that you'll get. Of course, the medical care should only go to the people who can pay for it. All right, next, let's take a look at your social values. Abortion. Oh gosh, Jeanette. All authority should be questioned. Let's just say yes. Strongly agree. Eye for an eye, tooth for a tooth. Strongly agree. This one, sometimes people have a little bit of a problem with too, just kind of answering this. Taxpayers should not be expected to prop up any theaters or museums that cannot survive on a commercial basis. And what they're saying is that government shouldn't pitch in any tax dollars if a museum can't sell enough tickets on its own. Right now, taxes definitely prop up a lot of these. So we'll put strongly agree. Schools should not make classroom attendance compulsory. Well, we've already managed to do that, so strongly agree. All people have their rights, but it's better that people should stick to their own kind. Strongly disagree. Good parents sometimes have to spank their children. Yep. Yep. Marijuana, don't worry, I won't answer. Just kidding. Here we go. We're just strongly agreeing. Strongly agreeing, even though there's some ridiculous statements. Okay, so you're going through here. La la la. I know you love my commentary. I miss you guys too. All right. And next page. We're on page 4. This is moving right along fast. Sometimes people have problems with this one. Our civil liberties are being excessively curbed in the name of counterterrorism. For example, what they're saying is in order to fight terrorism, we're having to give up too many freedoms. Like at airports, you're going to be searched, scanned, regardless of whether or not you've done anything to warrant such a search. Right? Strongly agree with that too. Surveillance, death penalty. All right. Obeyed and commanding. Abstract art that doesn't represent anything shouldn't be considered art at all. If you don't know what abstract art is, it's like when people draw random shapes and colors and things like that, and it's not a discernible picture. That's what we mean by abstract art. Oh, look at this one right here. It's going to boil some blood. Mothers may have careers, but their first duty is to be a homemaker. I'm not going to anger females, so I'm going to strongly disagree. We're on page 5. We're moving right along. Astrology accurately explains many things. Of course it does. I disagree. You can be moral. It's just strange morals, perhaps. Some people are naturally unlucky. That's true. Important that my child's school, and so no, schools will mess that up. Uh-oh, the last page is a little awkward. Looking at sex, they're asking questions about this. Sex outside of marriage is usually immoral. Of course it is. We're strongly agreeing with everything. Whoa, wait a second. Pornography concerning, no pornography, bad. These days, openness about sex has gone too far. Absolutely. All right, so once you finish taking the test, here is what's going to happen. They're going to put you on a scale, okay? And there's 4 quadrants. The left-right, the x-axis or the horizontal axis, shows you how liberal you are or how conservative you are economically. The further to the left you are, you're more liberal economically, and the further to the right you are, the more conservative you are, okay? On the social scale, they're going to put you on the y-axis or the vertical axis. And that right there, you see, is going to show you the further up you go, the more liberal you are, or excuse me, the more conservative you are, the more authoritarian is what they call it. And the further down you are, more liberal you are. So they're going to put a dot in one of these 4 quadrants based on where you are economically, left and right, and then up and down in terms of socially. Let's see where my random answers put me. Okay. Oh, this is really great too. They show you where famous people were, and it is not a goal to be where Hitler and Stalin are, so let's not get carried away. Here's old Gandhi, Margaret Thatcher, former British Prime Minister, Milt Friedman, an economic guru back in the day. Here's where they put me, okay? My random answers put me slightly to the right economically, and then slightly to the right socially, and that's just what you get for random answers. Now, notice here underneath it says show and chart for separate window for printing. We're not going to do that, but what you guys are going to do is you're going to do a screenshot of your political compass. And so to do that, you press at the same time, you press the Shift command and the number 4, and it brings up this little cursor. Then you just drag, and then when you let go, it takes a picture, and you're like, then you click on done, and disco. It goes over here to your desktop. you're going to upload that to a place on Schoology so that I know you have a political compass. If you want your own personalized certificate, they will give you one, but that's how you take the political compass test. Now, one other thing I want to show you in terms of elections, and this is fairly relevant for us. So let me look at the analysis here, and I want to show you this. We'll take that back. Let's go to over here, click on America, okay? I want to show you something interesting that is revealed over time. They looked at, I just clicked on the wrong thing, but let me go back. Presidential election 2008. I want to show you something interesting here. These were the campaign candidates, the major candidates in 2008. And you see that Barack Obama and Joe Biden both are over here in this right quadrant, okay? And some people gasp when they see that they're over there, and they're like, how could that be? They're Democrats. Compared to the rest of the world, like most Americans will actually fall in this top right quadrant. Most American politicians. Americans are way more conservative, at least mainstream Americans are way more conservative than people internationally. You see we got some other oddball characters in '08. Cynthia McKinney ran for the Green Party. Ralph Nader ran as an independent. And you see over here the Republicans, Sarah Palin and John McCain. And then you have some other libertarian candidates and some other oddballs running too. Okay? Now, even though Sarah Palin and John McCain are way further to the right, you can tell there's a clear divide here between Democrats and Republicans. But notice where Obama is. He's about 1, 2, and 2.5, 2.25 over, and then 1, 2, 3 up. So he's fairly liberal for American standards. Now, I want you to keep that in mind because I want to look at Obama in 2012. Right? When Obama runs for re-election, all of a sudden, take a look where he is now. He's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 over, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 up. What changed in 2008, from 2008 to 2012? And the answer is this. Once you get in office, especially as president, you have to govern from the middle, okay? If you're a Democrat, you campaign on the left issues, and you campaign as a fairly liberal Democrat. And you try to win some crossover votes from the conservative side, but once you become president, you have to have the other party's help. All right. So Obama kind of had to shift to the right and work with people on the right side of things, on the Republican side. And so ultimately, he changed over time. Right. If you look at our elections now in 2020 here, you'll see where everybody is, and people were all over the place. America is getting a little more diverse, but you can see at least a lot of the mainstream candidates were right here. Here's Joe Biden, who is not as liberal as what people think. Particularly on a lot of economic issues. They focus on his health care plan, which he's not really going for the single payer thing. But you can see, look at Trump. He's way up and to the right. And you can see that there's definitely a clear divide between them. But you can see people are all over the place. You had a ton of Democrats running, and they were over here. You had some super liberal people, even on the world scale. And then you had some libertarians down in this camp, right? Now, where you are, the further up and to the right you go into this quadrant, you're more on the conservative side, okay? If you're further down and to the left, that's the really liberal people, okay? And over here, if you're to the right economically, but you're liberal on your social scale, that means you're in the libertarian quadrant. And over here, when you go to the left economically and when you go to the conservative side socially, there's not a really good name for this, and we have political scientists a lot of times brand it as either populist or like socially conservatives. But I would say populist is going to be the term that we're going to use in here. And this is like a traditional West Virginian in this camp because we are very pro-union, pro-labor economic standards. We benefit from government programs a lot. There's a lot of poverty here. So individuals in West Virginia economically are to the left, but West Virginians definitely value the social conservative views, the social views that are conservative way more than they do the liberal views. So this is like your typical West Virginian, okay? Now, if you have any questions or comments about this particular video and how to do the Political Compass, feel free to contact me.